If you wanted to, you could load up a Minecraft world right now and just walk. You could walk for as long as you want. Quite frankly, nothing will stop you.
Unless you reach 30 million blocks and get to the world border, but that's beside the point.
What makes Minecraft kind of easy is that the world around you is completely free. If you need wood, you could just walk and go get it. If you need animals, you could just walk and go get it. If you need to subscribe to the channel and like the video, then you don't gotta walk at all. Let's go, boys. But for a new challenge, I set up a world border that locks me into a 100 by 100 block radius. I'll have to survive only using the materials in this world, and spoiler alert, it ain't a lot. Hello everybody, how are you doing this fine day? If you don't know who I am, my name is Haven and pleasure to meet you, and welcome to my very small world. Right here is the border. As you can see, it is 670. I can't go past that block, and here we are at 770, 100 blocks away, where yet again you can see I can't go anywhere. For those people who aren't following along, then yes, this world is 100 by 100 and there is no way for me to get out of this border, and so I'm gonna have to survive 100 days in here. Isn't that nifty? To do a quick check of exactly what I do and don't have, it looks like we have a singular cow. There's a couple of chickens over here that is going to be useful. Wood, of course, is not going to be an issue, which is a fantastic turn of event. Oh, there's even an armadillo here. Isn't that cool? That pretty much sums up everything that I've got in this world. Isn't that nifty? That being said, let's do this. And so I went wood collecting. I'm not a psychopath, though. I did decide to make an axe and I kept chopping. Anyway, it got to the night time and that is where the fun began. Because the first day I pretty much spent all of it collecting wood, I had zero food. So the only resource I could get for food was actually rotten flesh, and I got a decent amount of it. As well, spiders. And I think I just found a spider burial ground because there were spiders all over the gaff. I mean, I got 12 strings so I can sleep around as much as I want. No, not like I would, I'm a married man. And so with the sun rising on day 2, let's tackle the food situation. I grabbed about as many seeds as I could and I planted them. My goodness, we're going to be starving for a while here. But now let's get back to chopping some wood. Now, I just wanted to be in a situation where I was able to run about, but because of my hunger situation, I wasn't able to do that. So for the first time in what I think is 10 years of playing Minecraft, I made myself pumpkin pie. I'm so confident I have never made this before. Yep, here we are. Once I had that done, I went back to chopping wood. I also made myself a platform for my build. It was only the platform and it was night before I could do anything else. This masterpiece on day 3 is my bedroom, and oh boy, does it look good. To be fair, it's a place to sleep and for me to set up some storage, so it'll do, honestly. And after making my second ever pumpkin pie, I got my chicken into a pen, but since he looked pretty lonely, I decided to quickly go and get him a friend. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, my KFC factory. I popped into the cave for the first time on day 4. It was only to get myself some easy access iron because I needed a bucket. I'm gonna wet myself some plants. Sounds weird. And with the farms now filled out, here's hoping I'll get myself plenty of food. For the time being, it's my 3rd ever pumpkin pie. And since I am pretty limited, I think there is going to be a lot of time I spend in this world just building stuff. And it was on day 4 that I actually got to work on my first build. It wasn't a lot, and I haven't really got a clue what it'll be, but it's a start. But now on day 5, I just wanted to fill some holes that were left in the ground. Can't be faffing around falling into holes all the time, if you know what I mean. But yeah, again, I did run out of food, and my next plan was actually go into the caves again, so I am going to need to collect myself some snacks. So after 15 minutes of AFKing on day 6, I got myself some wheat. Not a lot, but it is enough for 18 bread, so it'll do for the time being. We can finally now go into the caves, and spoiler alert, these caves suck. Because mobs can only spawn in this 100 by 100 world, it means every mob under the surface is down here. Getting down for a start was gonna be a pain, and even when I did get down, well, could you look at all those mobs? That's a lot of them. It's gonna suck to get in here. I had to come back the next day, and oh my god, baby zombie! Well, I think we can agree that the worst is behind me. Oh my god, 2 baby zombies! How am I alive? After another horde of zombies, and yes, I'm calling them a horde. I mean, look, you can't tell me that this isn't a horde of zombies. Well, I got myself a carrot, which was pretty nice. I was still no closer to making it into the cave, but hey, we're moving. Coming back on day 8, and I actually got into the cave. Crazy, I know. No. How am I alive? I also got myself a 2nd carrot and a 3rd carrot. I wonder what the chances are of me getting 3 carrots or getting a potato. I even got myself an iron ingot, which is neat, I guess. Also a gold helmet. But now that I was actually in the cave, I actually started to get myself some iron. It is admittedly not a lot, but it is a start in this world. So remember that 18 bread that I had? Well, here we are on day 9, and it is all gone, so I have no choice but to leave the cave again. I mean, I was chased out, but that's beside the point. They even followed me onto the surface web. Really? A 4th carrot? This is just getting silly now. Well, let's bone meal and plant some more crops, and we are back to starving, boys. But then I remembered a very old friend, the composter. Surely with these 2 stacks of seeds, I'll be able to get myself plenty of bone 7. Cool, neat. It is something though, so I guess we'll just have to let it grow. And so with the iron I have collected on day 10, I decided to make myself some boots and make myself some tools. I think the tools are going to be more useful in the long run. I'll even save these extra free because why not? Now I want to quickly point out, every couple of days I do a quick run around the area to see if any more animals spawned. They did. It was just chickens, which I already had, so that wasn't fun. There is also still only one cow in the border, which is great. And sadly at this point, that's about it. Though a zombie in a full leather suit of armor decided to show up and say hi because why not? As well as a pillager attack. And sometimes I get way too overconfident with my life because as you can see, they was doing what the kids call giving me the L. That's right, I'm down with the kids lingo. You know how it is. So I got back to work working on the bigger house on day 11. The particle effects were very annoying though, so I had myself a classic bucket of milk. If only I had myself some cookies. Now with this build, let me be 100% clear. I have no real idea of what I want to do with it, but I have to start somewhere on this build, and that somewhere is the floor. Once I had the floor dug up on day 12, I began looking for a spot. Which spot? This spot, as this spot is officially the first ever Haven Hand Quarry. I'm gonna dig this bad boy to bedrock and none of you can stop me. Of course, I'm not gonna do that now. It'd take me forever. What I'm gonna do instead is get myself some wood. Don't really have much wood at the moment. I'm also gonna do a couple of things with food. I'm not even calling them chickens anymore. I'm just calling them food. I mean, what else are they gonna be used for? But after getting myself some wood, I have to remind everybody that safety first is the Haven and Quarry business has to happen. Everybody knows in the whole digging business, you gotta start with safety. I went back to digging on day 13. The quarry was built for one reason, and that was I needed to get myself some cobblestone. Though I want the cobblestone for stone, which means I need to cook it up, and I don't have any coal, so it was back into the caves to see if I can get myself some. Now, this is still every mob under the surface, as I say, so I have to be careful, because a single creeper blast or a couple of skeleton shots and I will be... What am I doing? Why am I running around and landing? What sort of brainiac thought this was a good idea? I only nearly died slightly, to be fair. It kind of worked out. Okay, a little bit of a side note on day 14. The note that I put for this day is just man food, which is, I don't know, it made me chuckle because I know I'm supposed to be like, oh, man food, but it just looks like I've said man food. I don't know. Anyway, if you look at these farms, you'd think I'd have a lot of food, but sadly, I just don't. I don't have any food, really. I am managing. It is just slow going, but it was on this day that I could actually eat carrots for the first time rather than just plant them. You know, it feels good, man. It feels good. And now to get myself some cobble cooking. I'll set up a little cooking area out here because why not? And then I got the cobblestone cooking away. On day 15, and would you look at that, a wandering trader. But this guy sucks. Don't get me wrong, I'll take the leather from the llamas. It's the only way I can really get leather at this point. I really wanted to light this area up and stop all the mobs from spawning down here, just so it's easier for me to come and go whenever I want. And so I got to it. One zombie horde later, and I think I've done alright, all things considered. Now I can collect all the coal and iron that I can in this cave. By day 16, I had it all collected, and it admittedly wasn't a lot, but there is plenty more for me to search, so it is not a problem. I can cook it up, and is that thunder? Why, yes. Yes, it is. You know what is a problem, though, on day 17? Oh, boy, you guessed it. I ain't got no food! Well, I guess it's time to get some chickens. I'm sorry, little ones. Now that I'm tasting you, though, I'm admittedly less sorry. Now I can slowly start working on the house again. Well, at least the floors. I want oak, so I guess I'm gonna have to plant myself some saplings. The other iron that I collected, I decided to make into a couple more tools, and I actually made a little bit more armor as well. Now, I will say on day 18 that things were going relatively slowly. I fully admit that, but honestly, I was having a really good time in this world, and I hope you are too. I was digging out another layer of the quarry. I still want to get a little bit more iron to finish off my armor set, and so it was back into the caves. And then for what feels like probably the 10th time in this world, I just escaped death. Like, straight up, I have no idea how I'm alive again. It's how, you know, I'm pushing fate. I really don't want to. But after collecting a little bit more iron, I was able to head back up and cook it all up. After a little bit of patience on day 19, and let me just say that food is becoming much less of an issue than it was only 2 days ago. And with the iron that I collected, I can now make myself that full iron. I'm still on a stone sword, by the way, but that's an issue for future me, not current me. I still have some more trees to cut down. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just waiting for the leaves to decay, and that's about it. On day 20, there's some new animals spawning around. There's 2 cows over here and the sheep over there. Unfortunately, all of them are outside of the border and too far away to lead in, but they're there, and if they come closer, then maybe I can get them. For now, it is back to the caves. Firstly, by exploring all those little side caves to see if I missed anything before heading into a deeper hole in the cave where, oh, would you look at that? More mobs! Yeah, well, my dreams of finding even more goodies kind of ruined some of my adventure, really. At some point, whilst nearly dying to a zombie, it did turn to day 21, so we'll just say that happened right now, where I headed deeper into the caves, where at first I thought I found myself an ancient city, which I thought would be quite useful. However, this actually turned out to be the new 1.21 trial chambers, so that'll be fun to explore when I'm ready, at least. I'll see if I can get past the 200 guardians of it, that is. I had to take a tactical retreat just to get coal. It's a good time down here, nearly dying all the time. what a good time. So I came back up to get food on day 22. Completely forgot in my inventory that I already had bread and chickens. Got the egg on my face. And then I did a whole lot of this. Well, you don't see anything? Yeah, that's because I did absolutely nothing. Well, it's about time that I upgrade, I think. So on day 23, it is time to say goodbye to the stone sword. You shall be missed, my friend. You shall be missed. Well, back to it. I went back to lighting up the caves. I was mining away, picking up some gold, I guess. Honestly, with the amount of mobs, unfortunately, things were slow going to getting here, but we are getting there eventually. At least on day 24, I can actually get into the cave where I found myself a party. If I had a penny for every single time I had faced a zombie horde down here, I'd have about 6 pennies, which isn't a lot of pennies, but it's weird that that's happened like 6 times, you know? So there I was, lighting the cave, killing the mobs, watching this bat get double teamed, giggity. But I managed to hold out against all the mobs, taking out pretty much everyone that came at me, and I think I have most of the layer lit up at this point. I don't think that I'm ready to check out the trial chambers just yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going down and see what I can find. I found a new cave whilst digging around on day 25, and I even got myself some Duck Dan Dimmadons. Isn't that nice? Then another first was after 4 carrots, I got myself a potato, which is just amazing. Sadly, because I am out of food and I'm also poisoned, I just can't seem to grab the potato. Have to turn into a bit of a mole rat to get it, but there we go. Now let's head back up, and I'm going to invest into the stock market, put it all in POT. It's a really dumb joke. It may have left me starving away on day 26, but I now have a very good, large farm. I can also make myself a diamond pickaxe. We just have so little here. Well, I will need a break away from mining, so why don't we work on the house again? I'm going to need to get myself some wood, so I did a little bit of the choppy chop. Day 27, and my current food source is apples. At least I don't have to worry about any doctors showing up this video. But since I will need to get myself some food. Anyway, let's get the floor into the house. Already out of wood, neato. I got the rest of the wood on day 28. I'm trying out a floor pattern, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really sure about. But it kind of looks unique and it works, I guess. Now it was onto the walls. Gonna actually try and build with some new blocks. Craziest block of them all, stone brick. I know I'm very unique. We'll need a lot of stone brick to get this stuff done, but we at least have a start. Want me to sum up day 29? I mined in the quarry, and then I cooked up the cobblestone. Yep, sums up that day. I got the rest of this layer of the house done on day 30, and now we gotta work on the roofs. Now listen, me and roofs, we don't agree. But I am gonna try and make something look good. Not like I always try and do that, but hey, we move on. I also want to add a bit of a balcony area to my house. Listen, I mean, the house doesn't have much of a plan, but there is something going for it, so hopefully it will look good in the end. What I am learning on day 31, I'm about as fast as a builder as your grandma is, 100-meter sprinter. 100-meter sprinter, that's one for the books. But I am working away where, wait, do you see that? That's a sheep in the border, let's go. I can collect all the wool if I ever want it. Right, anyway, it was back to building where I yet again ran out of wood. The funny thing was I literally went back to the forest, chopped down half of it, went back to building, and then I ran out of wood again. Like, how does this keep happening? So after some deforesting on day 32, cost me an axe, rest in peace, I hopefully have plenty of wood to finally finish off the walls, which I did, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, now I have to work on the roof. Now, for one reason or another, I decided that the best block to use for this one is actually logs, which means yet again I have nowhere near enough wood, but who knows, maybe this will look good once I strip it. Day 33, and listen, when it comes to building, I just really don't like building roofs. That is an official Haven statement for you. Yet again, would you believe I am out of woods? How many times have I said that in the past 2 minutes? And I think at this point I just need a break from building anyway, so I am going to collect that wood for the future, even if it is not for the house, and then we'll move on to the next day. And so on day 34, I went caving. Blah, 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 things happen here, but then something really interesting happened where, do you hear that? Do you hear it? That is a zombie villager. Oh my goodness, the game has changed. I was able to trap him into a boat, and then I ran and got myself an apple. And when I went back down to the caves, well, I think some Minecraft god wanted to give me a win today because there was a witch right bloody there. What you need to understand is that I have no access to the Nether at this point, and witches have a chance of throwing in weakness potions, so if I am wanting to cure him, the only way to do that is by using this witch. Just have to deal with getting poisoned a bunch. It's no biggie, really. I didn't even notice the weakness potion happened at first, but I was able to kill the witch, cure him, and oh my god, we're actually gonna have a villager in this world. Let's friggin' go. So on day 35, I need to get him to the surface, so I started digging a staircase up, even cured whilst I was doing it, which was quite nice. But this absolute lad, this absolute unit of a villager just went straight up the staircase. What a guy, what a legend. Anyway, I got him back up to the surface and he is good to go. Anyway, let's go back caving. So when I go back into the caves on day 36, there was more zombies and another witch, which meant, well, this wall's really nice. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Anyway, after fighting off even more mobs, I actually got myself some diamonds in the process, which was nice, where I knew it was time to leave. I don't think I was ready to keep going, especially with the little food that I had. Once I did get back up, it was actually another pillager attack, which initially kind of scared me. I couldn't find the villager anywhere, and pillagers will naturally attack villagers. They're one of the few mobs to do so. I was kind of concerned that they would have killed him, but nope, he's just faffing around over here. Usual stuff, really. However, then something happened that I just pretty much didn't expect to happen, because A, I didn't think it was possible, and B, it was really, really bad, and yeah, bad things don't happen to me. I'm sure. You see, despite the fact that I only had one villager and 2 doors, this technically classed as a village, which means I had just triggered myself a raid. How this is defined as a village, I will never know. The problem is I am nowhere near ready for a raid in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I didn't have any food and I had just iron armor, so the plan was to pretty much just block the villager up and then just run away until the raid hopefully clears up. I mean, that was my only plan. But as I was running away, it actually said raid was defeated, which made me think that the villager had died. When I went back over there, it turns out that one of the pillagers actually stayed in the area, and I kind of missed one of the walls, and unfortunately the villager was just trapped in a boat. Long story short, the past couple of days of me curing a villager and getting him back up to the surface was pointless because he is now dead. Isn't that nice? Isn't that neat? So, I actually took a break after that happened. I was a little bit deflated, so when I came back the next couple of days, I unfortunately, well, I just didn't record. The only thing you really missed was me finding myself a lava pool and getting myself some obsidian. So here we are on day 40, and I was thinking about setting myself up a level 30 enchanter, but with 1 leather, yeah, that's not going to do. Now, I actually can get myself some leather, but it fully depends on what the Nether spawn is. I originally completely forgot that the Nether will also be 100 by 100, so any chance of me getting a bastion or a fortress, yeah, forget that dream. But I was lucky enough to get myself a crimson forest, which means either A, I can barter away and get myself some leather, or B, I can slaughter the hoglins in here and get some leather as well. As if I can survive though, because a single skeleton nearly killed me, and if the skeleton's doing it, then oh boy, that'd have been embarrassing. Think about what the rest of the mobs could do. On day 41, I pretty much had no gold, so that's a rip. Now, I do think I left myself some gold sitting around the cave somewhere, and actually when I was looking around, there was actually quite a bit. It's not a massive amount, but it will be enough for me to get some good bartering done. So these 4 veins got me 33 in total, which is quite a lot if you ask me. Anyway, it was back to the Nether on day 42 where I began trading the 33 gold. I got myself 13 leather and 1 book, and yeah, that's not enough. You need 45 for a full level 30 enchanter. It's not the end of the world, but admittedly it's not great either. Just gonna head home for now and prepare some extra work. I worked out on day 43 that I need to get myself 30 extra leather to make myself the full enchanter. And after a quick scan to see if there was any more cows that mosey on into my base, well, unfortunately the only option was for me to go back into the Nether to kill some hoglins. Gonna do all the slaughter. I hardly know her. Oh, man. Anyway, it was back to the Nether. Not really much to talk about here. I was just going away killing hoglins as you do. And in this tiny world, they spawned quite a bit, so pretty good. Took me about an hour in the end. Here we are on day 46 where I got myself the good old 30 leather. I also had a fantastic food source now. These pork chocks are probably going to get me to close to day 100 by the end of it, which is just fantastic. So much chop on day 47 that I can't even cook it all. Well, unless I at least sort out the books. The problem was I had nowhere near enough sugarcane, so that's nice. I'll at least make the 6 bookshelves I can for the time being. It's a start, even if it ain't much of one. Now, I know I just said that I sorted out my food situation, but for some weird reason at the time, I felt the need to actually sort out my food situation more. Let's plant some more potatoes. Sugarcane growth is pretty slow on day 48, so I guess I'll try and kill some time by doing another tree cutting session. It did cost me my last iron axe. Sad times, I know. At least with all this wood, I can carry on working on the roof, if I could stay on the roof, that is. Took me an extra day, but here we are on day 50 with the roof now completed. Now I just have to strip it. This also took about 4 stone axes, but we got there by the end of the day as well. I would say at this point the house is about 95% done, which is pretty good. The only thing left on day 51 is to get myself some windows in, so I went sand digging. And since I have no coal, I'll have to quickly pop back into the cave again. Unfortunately, after living in this world for, what, 50 days at this point, coal mining is a little bit of slim pickings. And it almost died too. How many times have I said that this time? That would have definitely sucked 50 days in. And then on day 52, whilst moving around, I actually found myself another zombie villager. Huge news if you ask me. The only problem was I actually traded all of my gold with the piglings, and the coals are so barren now that, yeah, finding gold isn't going to be a huge possibility for me. So why don't we try the Nether out to see if we can mine ourselves some golden nuggets? It should be doable in theory. And to be fair, if you ignore the locals trying to kill me once or twice, I actually got myself a pretty decent amount of gold, which was pretty good. I am 1 gold short, because of course I am, so I guess I'll have to quickly go and fix that. Pork chop apples, huh? You know what, Haven? You do you. Go for it, my son. Now to find myself another witch on day 53. Oh, that was easy. Again, getting this done though was anything but easy. There was mobs and skeleton shot the bloody boat, and then there was more mobs. It wasn't fun this time around, I'm gonna be honest with you. It took a while, but I was actually able to get the cure done for him. Unfortunately, I can't kill the witch just yet because I'm kind of dying myself. But once that was done on day 54, I began digging myself a new tunnel to freedom. So then he just made a run for it. I'm not gonna lie, it sucked to try and get this guy up here. He just wouldn't let me help him. Like, my guy, I'm trying to get you to the surface so you can live the good life. Just please work with me. Look at him just standing there like he owns the place. I miss the original villager. He was the GOAT. I came back the next day where he finally began cooperating. He finally came to the surface. It only took way too long. At least I can finally move on now, cook myself some glass, the joys of cooking, and then I got the glass in. The walls and roof are finally done. I'm just gonna put some lanterns, and everybody loves lanterns. At least I love lanterns. I moved the bed in on day 56. I can officially call this place home. This shack that I've been living in for the first 56 days, I guess I'll just make storage, I don't know. As for the bookshelves, I only have 4 to go, so we do have to wait out a little longer. Did I end up just staring at the sugarcane for the next 30 minutes? Why, yes. Yes, I did. On day 58 and after 30 minutes, I got myself the bookshelves in. Now let's get myself Fortune pickaxe. Okay, not this time. Not that time. Really? Well, I was able to scrape together one more chance, and just Fortune 2 isn't great, but hey, I'll take it. So it was back to the caves on day 59 to collect things. Sure, why not? Now, it was mainly iron at this point that I was looking for. I was fresh out of it, and so I decided to start by picking up as much as I could. I was actually kind of surprised with how much iron I did miss in here. And thanks to the fortune, well, over 3 stacks of iron is a really good turnaround. It's a crazy amount, actually. And so I went back up on day 60 to go cooking. I put myself 30 levels together to enchant a new pickaxe. It was only iron, but efficiency 4 and breaking 3, I'll take that any day of the week. So on day 61, I'm just gonna go back to strip mining. I wanted to get myself some diamonds, and oh, that was easy. I got myself another vein this day, which was fantastic. But you know what else I found? I found myself a zombie spawner, which unfortunately is mostly outside of the border. If this world was 101 blocks wide, not only would I have full access to a zombie spawner, I'd have full access to the chests as well, which would have been fantastic. But sadly, never meant to be. I was back to strip mining on day 62. I ended up finding myself more veins of diamonds pretty much next to each other. It got me 45 diamonds in total, which was surely enough, and so we could head home. I got to the surface and shoved it all the way, making myself a blast furnace in the process. I mean, I'm gonna have to do plenty of trades, and an armor seems like the way to go. Day 63, and this may be the easiest trade I think I've ever done. 1 iron for 1 emerald, and then multiple items for 1 emerald. It was so easy to upgrade him. It's just such a shame that the vinyl trades just kind of sucked in the end. A diamond chestplate with cursor binding, and an iron block trade, which was worse than the original iron trade. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I'll still be able to do it, get blast protection 4, and then apply that to my chest plate. It's something. I mean, I'll never be able to take this off, but man, what can you do? The rest of the diamonds, you ask? I guess I'll make more armor and tools with that. Isn't that nice? And with all this gear on day 64, it is time for me to enter the chambers. It was a really good start, because literally the first chest that I opened, I got myself a sharpness 4 book. Really? Well, I'm gonna head straight back up and get that on my diamond sword sorted. And then I just stood there. I'm not really sure why. I returned back to the chambers the next day. So this is the second time that I've done a trial chambers, the first time being, of course, in the 1.21 trios video. And though it has been slightly tweaked, this has still technically been a bit of a cakewalk for the most part. The only really challenging thing is the poison arrow skeletons. It's definitely a challenge and a nice change. The rest of it, though, is relatively easy. I mean, even the breeze was just, you know, he was just cool that he jumps around, but relatively easy to fight, all things considered. And then on day 66, here's all the goodies I got from it. It's fine loot. I mean, I'll take it. And so 66 days in, and I honestly did all the work that I wanted to do in this world, which a little bit early for that, I would say. But there is one thing that I thought on day 66. I think it would be really cool if I got myself full Netherite. If you know the problem, you know the problem. So I went into the Nether and I started digging around. It didn't take me long to break the iron pickaxe, and so I ended up making an efficiency 2 diamond pickaxe, which honestly kind of worked just fine. It was pretty good, all things considered, though it was sadly slow going. Yeah, there wasn't really much space here, so I'm just gonna have to dig around and hope for the best. By the end of day 73, I actually ended up with 18 pieces of ancient debris, which is actually pretty good considering the small world that I'm in. Now I just gotta go ahead and mine myself some golden nuggets. Once I had about 4 stacks of golden nuggets on day 73, 74, I began heading home. I was able to make myself 30 gold bars, and whilst waiting for the cook, another wandering trader. And out of all things to get, out of all saplings to obtain, getting oak just wasn't okay, my god. And wait for it. Wait for it. There it is. This was the moment I realized that I didn't have a Netherite upgrade. The egg on my face. I quickly spent day 75 basically going back to the Nether to see if there was any secret bastions that was in this world, and spoiler alert, there wasn't. And so with the Netherite dream dead on day 76, I decided I wanted to set myself up a basic armadillo mound. Just a nice little dirt area that they can live in. They've been sitting around with me for ages now. Whilst rallying them all up, would you look at that? A new sheep. That is the second sheep in this world. So after getting the dillos into their mound, I got the sheep into their new home. I even got this extra one from the border, which was quite nice. That's 2 more sheep, making 3 in total. A good day for the animals in this world, if I do say so myself. And so on day 77, after storing some stuff away, I just went AFK. Now, why did I go AFK? I don't know why I went AFK. But for some weird reason, Past Haven didn't put any info on why I went AFK, so I just stood here for 20 minutes. 79 it was 79 when I began moving on, and I'm not gonna lie, things slowed down here for a couple of days. You know what I worked on day 79? It was paths. Yeah, I made some paths. It was a good day. One idea on day 80 that I had was something I've always wanted to make into a world. It's a nice little waterfall. I've always wanted to build one, and now just seems like a good time to do so, so I started working on it this day. I carried on working on it on day 81. It's admittedly nothing special, but it will add some flavor to this world. The crops will definitely need to grow though. And then on day 82, I wanted to get myself 30 levels. I need to make myself a brand new diamond pickaxe, so I started mining all the ores that I could. And since the caves are relatively barren, I remember that the chambers will now reset, so I think I'll just go in there and fight the mobs instead. Day 83, not only did I find myself a new couple of rooms, which was nothing special, I also got myself to 30 levels. That's before finding a new room where I got myself an uber apple. Well, if you insist. I was wondering if it was thundering on day 83. Yes it was. And one enchant later on day 84, I was hoping for unbreaking, but this is fine too. Now, I planned a very long time ago that the Haven quarry was going to go all the way down to bedrock, and it is time for me to do so, so I got to work. And I dug! It ended up taking 9 full days of mining away, but here we are. We have made it to bedrock. It was very satisfying to do, if I do say so myself. You know what also took forever? Just climbing back up the ladders. Like, my god, this takes a minute. Like, look at me go, just really climbing up there. Fantastic. And then on day 94, I was pretty much done. I did one last path to the actual quarry itself, and safe to say, I think I've kicked this world in the butt. And so on day 99, I watched the sunset to get myself to day 100.